Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibrawl. My name is Brian, and Representative Salazar just drags this swamp creature through the mud and forces him to confront his own failings as a lifelong bureaucrat. Let's dive in.
Venezuelans, they're fleeing Marxism. They're hungry. The average Venezuelan weighs 15 pounds less because of lack of food. We know that Chavez has destroyed the country. They make it to Ecuador. They're tired. And then they encounter that the United States, which is the beacon of hope, is offering this program to become a drag queen. So I think there's something wrong with that picture. And I'm not sure if we can play it again, but I just wanted your opinion.
Well, that particular program was a State Department program. And I have great respect for the State Department, but I think it's appalling they did it, to be very frank with you.
So you do not agree with those $35,000
No,
invested?
I don't. I think we should stick with our basic mission.
Good, well, but you agree that they have not. Not under you.
Oh,
but
no, they have not.
They have not.
And
okay,
I think
so
that
let's
needs
go
to be
I just want to
changed.
hear your thoughts because unfortunately
Just
time
one
is of
comment,
the essence. $2 million for Native Indians in Guatemala. President Giammattei called me. I've never had a president from a country saying, I don't want the United States money. Highly conservative. These are the Native Indians in Guatemala, people who are just, flipping the tortillas and they just want to learn how to do a job, not sex change surgeries. What do you think about that?
That's beyond what this AID mission is. I don't think we should be.
That's all we need to know. Peru, in the Amazon. This is the jungle. This is not Jeff Bezos' Amazon. This is like where people have harsh conditions. They need mosquito nets to fight malaria. So $25,000 for diversity recruitment events. What is a diversity recruitment event in the middle of the jungle?
I have no idea. Congressman, just one comment. You can move aid to do what you want by hiring a development professional, a conservative, who knows how to manage a large, complex operation. Mark Green was such a person, under Trump.
But then what happened between your time and this time? Tell me, what happened?
Well, politics gets involved.
Oh, politics. But then Elon Musk comes and tries to clean politics and go back to the original mission of the program. Is that correct?
I think it would be useful if Musk and some of his staff would go to the field and see the projects.
Well,
I think they would take a different view.
I'm sure they don't have time, sir, to do that. But what I'm saying is that he did something that, according to what you just explained, it brings benefit to the USAID programs.
The USAID staff do what the political appointees tell them to do.
Well, okay.
They don't initiate these things.
They don't.
No.
So that means that all these directives came from the White House.
The White House, yes, and the State Department.
So that, okay, but then the White House, the State Department responds to the White House. So you are telling me that under the Biden administration, the USAID lost its course, yes or no?
I think AID needs to be more independent of the political wars in Washington.
You just told me that the State Department is the one that directs that. Okay, and the State Department responds to the White House.
That's correct.
All right, so that means then that the White House gave the wrong directives to USAID.
In my view.
In your view. Good.
Yes.
Thank you. Well, that's all we needed to know. So now we have a new sheriff in town called Donald Trump, and then that guy brought another guy called Elon Musk to do the job, something that no one else has done before. So why do we need to criticize him?
Because he doesn't know anything about development. He may be a genius at technology. He does not know anything about development.
But wait. Development has nothing to do with what is the mission statement for USAID? Secure, prosper, and value American values. The $2 million for the Native Indians in Guatemala to change their sex surgeries has nothing to do with that.
$15 billion was spent on humanitarian assistance in emergencies and refugee camps. There's particular skills you learn in doing that. I did that.
I understand, but you're talking about what works. I'm talking about what does not.
Oh, good grief. I can't even believe that what I'm about to say, but I feel a little bit of pity for this witness. That witness is Andrew Natsios, and he has been a long-time swamp creature. Just for the longest possible time imaginable. The dude is definitely on the old side. He has a lot of institutional knowledge. I have a lot of respect for people in that vein because they quite literally view themselves as the bulwark against liberal nonsense. All right, this is a dude who thinks that the compassionate conservatism, like that of George W. Bush and his father, Herbert Walker Bush, that's the kind of guy who thinks that the bureaucracy works. It doesn't. Okay? The American bureaucracy has been co-opted, it has been corrupted, it has been destroyed, and every single time a Democrat touches the American bureaucracy, things get worse. All right? USAID has been found with billions of dollars of just ridiculous, wasteful, stupid, asinine, pretty much throw out your thesaurus here, and you'll have a very proper word to describe the stupidity of USAID. And Representative Salazar is right to call it out. By the way, that's not a representative I want mad at me. Okay? You do not mess with someone like Salazar because she is an assistant whip in the Republican Party, which basically means if you're getting a meeting from her, you messed up and you're about to learn the hard way. So, yeah, you don't cross Representative Salazar, and she's making a very interesting point. For the longest time, the Republican Party has tried to be the compassionate party because under guys like Barry Goldwater back in 1964, he was out there calling out the insanity, the ridiculousness, the waste. He was out there as a reaction against the failures of the Great Society under the New Deal, under FDR. Granted, FDR had passed 20 years before this election. But Barry Goldwater was out there calling out the problems. But he was not looked at fondly by the American people. Unfortunately, history has proven him right, by the way. Same way with Pat Buchanan. Funny how it ends up like that. But this idea that compassionate conservatism is the way to go needs to go away. All right? This witness here, Andrew Natsios, has tried his best throughout his life to make sure that he's doing bureaucracy the right way. Well, folks, I have nothing better to say than there's no right way to do bureaucracy. Okay? There is no right way to do it. It is inherently a terrible, ridiculous, annoying, lengthy, just awful system. Again, throw the thesaurus at bureaucracy and you'd probably be right. It's everything wrong with leftism wrapped up in a big, ugly bow of red tape. And this dude is trying to defend it. He's trying to do things the right way. Well, I have a better question to ask of Mr. Natsios. Why on God's green earth is the federal government using my money to fund ridiculous projects across the globe? We already had an argument over pork barrel spending, and that really went over a lot of people's heads. I love pointing out the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act under Barack Obama was this major push to stimulate the economy. You know what it did? There's a stretch of Highway 41 going northbound and southbound throughout Cobb, Cherokee, and Bartow counties here in Georgia, where all they did was add a ton of 180-degree turning lanes, U-turn lanes. Why? There's no need for this nonsense. The area to this day is barely developed, and yet it received a massive fat contract with local road construction crews. And granted, I love the guys that do that sort of work because they serve a fundamental purpose, but it was a hilarious waste of money. It was completely unnecessary, and it was millions of dollars in a contract that did nothing for the local people. It was a waste of money. That's what USAID is doing. The examples here, sex change surgeries in Guatemala. Why? Why? I'll tell you why. The real reason behind it is because it is a projection of soft power by the CIA. And furthermore, the mentality behind it is this ridiculous rich white liberal idea that everyone wants to be American. Everyone wants to be a part of this liberal order. Everyone in the world deeply yearns for this sort of freedom. We tried this in Iraq and Afghanistan, and it failed miserably. And we're still throwing taxpayer dollars out the window in order to pay for this nonsense? This is an attempt to live out Fantasyland. There's only a handful of places in the world that Fantasyland exists, and it's usually owned by the Walt Disney Company. Good grief. This is nuts. This is absolutely ridiculous. The amount of money that we have wasted on projects that do nothing for those people is a waste of money on our part. All right, that's your money. That's my money that has gone to a system that does not work. It doesn't benefit anyone. And then, why do we need, basically what this is charity organizations. So Andrew Natsios is basically running a giant, or at one point, ran a giant charity organization and just let all these little pet projects be pet projects. That is not how you steward taxpayer money. That is a notion of the ridiculous conservatism of the compassionate kind that Karl Rove tried to make into reality, and it does not work. It is time to shut off this faucet. It is time to uncork the bathtub because the water is overflowing. It is time to deal with this ridiculous issue, and Representative Salazar is taking this, by definition, Republican. This dude, the witness here, Andrew Natsios, would vote Republican. But it's time for him to realize that his version of history is not correct. His version of conservatism does not work, and it is time to scale back what USAID does and instead give the power to you, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to fund a mission trip to Guatemala, you front the money. That is what Americans are best at. We are known for our charitable work. We are known for our charitable giving. It is time to reinvest in that part of America and not into these ridiculous sex changes and puppet shows. No wonder USAID has lost its government funding. Folks, my name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Till then, y'all have a good one.